Let me introduce Chuan, who is a PhD, is currently a professor of optical oceanography at the University of Central Florida. Please don't ask me what that means. I want our members to know that Dr. Hu has published over 300 peer-reviewed papers on these topics. He is a team member of NASA and NOAA's satellite missions and a member of the Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine of Florida. Let me introduce our speaker today to talk about algae in Florida.
Good afternoon, everyone. Very pleased to meet you virtually. And I also want to thank the chairman of this Rotary Club, Mr. Rich Angara, for inviting me to give this talk. I'm a professor at the University of South Florida. So we are located on the west coast of Florida, Tampa to St. Petersburg to Sarasota. Okay. So my name is Chuan Hu. I lead a group of optical oceanographers at this university to do research and also education. Today, I'm going to talk about the sargassum seaweed in our waters and also in the Caribbean. We are all Floridians, and if you live on the coast, you may have heard of this already. This is the emerging phenomenon. We have a lot of sargassum seaweed inundation in the past few years. So today I want to take this opportunity to share a few slides, spend a few minutes to show you a little bit more details on this seaweed inundation. So perhaps you already know this, but sargassum seaweed in the Atlantic has two main species. To the left, that's a sargassum fluitans. It's a little bit thicker. To the right, that's a sargassum natans. Both are abundant. You can see from the scale, they're about the size of your palm, your hand. It's 10, 20 centimeter each clump. Okay, so these are the individual clumps. Okay. And in the ocean, it's very good. It's a habitat for many marine animals, from fish to turtle to many others. And the Sargasso Sea Alliance called this a golden floating rainforest of the Atlantic Ocean. So it's a great habitat. And because of this, if you want to collect this from the ocean, you need to have a permit from NOAA. Okay, they prevent people from collecting this. It's great. But like anything else, if you have too much of a good thing, it becomes bad, especially on the beach in coastal waters. And this is what many people in the Caribbean and also in the east coast of Florida have faced in the past few years. Okay, they have this sargassum inundation. The sargassum mats accumulate on their beaches, in their backyard. That created a lot of a problem. Any problem you can imagine, you would have this bad smell, insects, bacteria, or even virus. It's very bad for tourism and economy. It is also bad for your health. It smells very bad. Okay, so these are for the Caribbean, for the Texas, and people are well known. They know this very well. What about our backyard? So to the left, that's an image from Fort Lauderdale. You can see it's pretty bad. You don't want to swim from here, okay? And to the right, that's just 1 month ago from Florida Keys. And my colleague, Brian LaPointe and Rachel Bruton took this photo. You see, not only you see this brownish seaweed, but the surrounding water is also brownish because the seaweed release a lot of materials, okay? So pretty bad. Now you may have a lot of questions about this seaweed. For example, where they come from? How much do we get? What is the reason? So here, even though I cannot address all questions, I want to show you animation to see the past, what happened in the past few years. So every month, we can see this sargassum movement from the tropical Atlantic to the Caribbean, to the Gulf of Mexico, and to the Florida Strait, and to the east coast of Florida. You see this sargassum belt, we call this Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt. it makes a turn in the Gulf of Mexico, then goes to the east coast of Florida. Okay, so there are many questions about this sargassum belt, and our group is among many to do research right now to understand what caused this, what will happen in next years, how do we deal with this? There are many questions, but while we are doing this, we can do something else to have a better knowledge on where it is and where it's moving. So we monitor this sargassum seaweed bloom. And here is how we do this. We first go to the field. We want to understand this seaweed. So we go to the field, collect the sample, and understand its color and the biomass, how much is there. And so what is in the sargassum? We understand this from the field and the lab experiments. Then this is very small in the field. Okay, we want to scale up to the entire Gulf of Mexico. Okay? It's huge. So we have to rely on satellites. So we scale up what we observe from the field to satellites. And this is a typical satellite image covering the Western Caribbean. This is the Yucatan Peninsula. So Cancun Island is right over here. There's a famous tourist place. So what you see is land, cloud, and ocean, right? But what we see is different because we have a lot of tricks to remove all of this and to observe what's on ocean surface. So here's what we see. Same image. The black is the cloud. We see nothing. We don't see through clouds, but we do see what's on ocean surface, like this greenish slicks. These are the sargassum seaweed rafts. So that's for one day. But you may say, well, what happened in this black spots? And, you know, that's cloud. We can see through, but we can put other days on top of this image. Because clouds move, we can compose a cloud-free image to show better like this. Now, each color represents the amount of sargassum, with warm color showing more sargassum. So you have an idea of where most sargassum seaweed is. And more than that, we can track the sargassum by overlaying the ocean currents, how fast and where the ocean water is moving. You know something is there, and you know how fast it's moving. You can predict where it's moving, right? So this is what we have been doing in the past few years. And we have been doing that for the entire Gulf of Mexico and entire Caribbean. And to the right, that's an image to show how this sargassum seaweed is transported from the Caribbean through the Yucatan Channel into the Gulf of Mexico and makes a turn into the Florida Strait. Okay. So based on this, we produce monthly bulletins every month. By end of the month, we produce a one-page bulletin to distribute to many stakeholders to inform them what is the current situation of sargassum and what is likely to happen in the next couple of months. You know, for the entire Caribbean, for the Gulf of Mexico. And this is the bulletin we produced back in 2018. So we show what happened in previous years and what is going on in the current year. We do this every month. Okay? And more than that, we can zoom in to a certain region like this, the Mexican EEZ of Cancun Island. And we look backwards to see what's going on in the past 10 years and what is the current situation. This is June 2021, 2 months ago, and compare with the history to inform people, you know, is this year a worse or a better year than previous? So they can better prepare, okay? Now, if you ask me, what would happen in my backyard, in Miami Beach, in the Palm Beach, okay? We have the capacity now to zoom in the image to the individual beaches. So on this example, we have this Miami Beach. If you zoom into this small square, you can see this reddish pattern. And this is 200 meters in scale, this entire square. You see this reddish color, that is the sargassum seaweed. And North Miami Beach, you see the same thing. Canton Beach, you see the same thing. Okay. So we have the capacity to zoom in individual beaches. Although we cannot do this everywhere, every day, we are limited by resource. So with this, I hope I have some new information to you, even though you knew this emerging phenomenon before. I have a short summary to share with you. Sargassum blooms and inundations have increased in the past decade, okay? Although the exact reason is still unknown. Then we have this great Atlantic Sargassum belt discovered. Previously, people thought Sargassum is mostly in the Sargasso Sea. Now, in the tropical Atlantic, we have more Sargassum seaweed than anywhere else, okay? So our Sargassum inundation in the Caribbean and in Florida are connected to this tropical Sargassum belt. Okay? So based on satellite imagery, we have developed this Sargassum watch system to monitor, track, and forecast Sargassum blooms and inundations. This is similar to tracking hurricanes. Okay? You see something going on far away, and you can predict the path and also the likelihood it may end up on some beaches. Okay? But still, we need some resource to improve our capacity to zoom in on individual beaches. So that way, when local residents say, what will happen in that beach, we can tell better. Plus, we are doing research to understand this phenomenon better and better. Thank you very much. I welcome your questions.
This is Jason Buhai. We initially talked online, so thank you for coming and speaking to our club today. I think I'd like to ask the question perhaps everybody is thinking, which you didn't address, which is what can be done to help tourism at our beaches by preventing so much from coming? Do you and your team have any idea, or do local governments have any idea how to address the problem?
Well, this is a natural phenomenon. And the total amount in the ocean is just so huge. You cannot remove them all. But what we can do, or what we collectively can do, is to better prepare to find a better mitigation strategy. For example, if we can forecast the amount of sargassum that would end on certain beach, the local governmental agencies or the groups can prepare the right equipment to physically remove. Currently, that's the only way to deal with this, to remove this, either on the beach or from the water before they land on the beach. And that's what the Caribbean people have been doing in the past years. They physically remove this. Then after the removal, they can make products out of this. They don't just fill the landfill with it, bury them. They don't discard this. They clean up, they dry them, they make products. For example, fertilizers, other products. If you Google online, you see a lot of different products. And the Department of Energy of this country is funding several projects to see how to make biofuel from sargassum. So I think the best strategy is to learn how to mitigate, adapt, and make use of this product. Jason.
But Doctor, while I think you answered the question, is there a commercial use for this seaweed? The answer is yes, but there's not enough commercial use for the seaweed for it to be economically feasible to clean the beaches all the time. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. The DOE, Department of Energy, is funding projects also to look into this cost-benefit factor. Sargassum harvest in offshore waters, if you send a boat to collect sargassum, can the benefit overwhelm cost? This is an unknown answer, but currently the cost is just too high. The benefit is too low.
Thank you for being with us today. Just a question. I know this was possibly not feasible large scale, but I know that beach erosion is a problem. and that in some areas they do dredging and they pump the sand up onto the beach to fight the erosion. Is it possible to coordinate the dredging with the collection of the seaweed on the beaches and perhaps bury it? Would that solve a problem or create another problem?
That won't solve the problem, but they may help the mitigation strategy. You know, if the beach dredge, the dredging can be coordinated with the timing and the location of a sargassum inundation. You know, it may be one stone, two birds for that time period. But you know, in future years, sargassum will keep coming. So it won't solve the problem for future years, but for the current activity, yes, I would say so.
Doctor, that's really good information. Is this an annual event, and how long does it actually last?
Yes, it's an annual event. You know, every year we have a cycle, and in the Atlantic, the peak months of this sargassum seaweed is the summer, early summer, June, July. Okay, and by the time it reaches the east coast of Florida, it's a little bit late, perhaps 1 month late, and that's the norm. And in some years, even in spring, we Floridians see large amount of sargassum. You know, that's abnormal years. But yes, it does have an annual cycle.
Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure on my side. See you all later. Thank you.